Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when Allah gently pulls them away from the world, not to punish them, but to purify them. Sometimes He closes doors, distances people, removes distractions, and rearranges everything you depended on, so you can finally discover the happiness that exists between you and Him alone. Loneliness is not a punishment. It is an invitation to return, to reflect, to rise. Allah reminds us in the Quran, and Allah is sufficient as a disposer of affairs. When you let this verse settle in your heart, something inside you shifts. You begin to realize that the love, validation, and support you were chasing from people were never meant to be your foundation. People change, hearts change, life shifts, but Allah, He remains constant, steady, near, and perfectly aware of what your soul needs. Many people feel sad when someone leaves, but what if that departure was Allah saving you? What if that silence, that distance, that heartbreak was His mercy in disguise? Think of the moments when someone disappointed you, ignored you, or made you feel unworthy. You may have cried, broken down, or asked, "Why me?" But look back now. Did it not teach you something? Did it not push you closer to Allah? Did it not show you who truly cares and who only pretended? Sometimes Allah isolates you because He wants to teach you how to stand without relying on anyone. He wants you to discover the strength that was always hidden inside you. He wants you to taste the sweetness of having no one but Him, and realizing that is enough. Imagine waking up alone in the quiet of Fajr. The world is asleep, but your heart is awake. You raise your hands and whisper, "Ya Allah, I have no one but you," and in that whisper, you feel a peace you never felt with people. This is the type of solitude that transforms you. This is the loneliness that becomes sacred. This is the moment when you understand that happiness was never missing. It was just buried beneath your expectation of people. Think of Prophet Yusuf Ajah, alone in the well, alone in the prison, alone in a foreign land. Yet every moment of loneliness was actually a step toward greatness. Allah was building him, shaping him, elevating him. Your loneliness too is not random. It is a divine process, a crafting of your soul. And Allah sends signs. Oh, He sends signs. Sometimes through a verse you randomly open. Sometimes through a conversation you weren't supposed to hear. Sometimes through something that breaks your heart just enough to push you back toward Him. Allah knows exactly how to reach you, exactly how to wake you up, exactly how to heal you. And the moment you stop depending on people and start depending on Him, everything changes. Happiness begins when you stop handing your heart to people who don't know how to hold it. Happiness begins when you stop seeking love from people who can barely love themselves. Happiness begins when you stop relying on human beings who are fragile, temporary, inconsistent, and start relying on the one who is eternal. Being alone is not emptiness, it is preparation. Allah isolates you before He elevates you. He hides you before He blesses you. He disconnects you before He connects you to something far greater than what you lost. Your job now is not to fear loneliness, but to grow inside it, to fill it with dhikr, with quiet dua, with self-improvement, with worship, with healing, with rebuilding your heart. A time will come when you look back and say, "I needed that loneliness. Without it I would still be attached to the wrong people. Without it I would never have found myself. Without it I would never have found Allah the way I did." Your alone time is not a pause in your life. It is the beginning of your new chapter. Trust that Allah is preparing you. Trust that He has seen every tear, every disappointment, every unanswered message, every empty night, and trust that He replaces nothing except with something better. So surrender, release what hurt you, let go of what was never written for you, and allow Allah to write something far more beautiful ahead. When you learn to be happy alone with Allah, you will never depend on anyone again, and that is when your life begins to bloom. Loneliness hurts because it exposes the parts of us we've been hiding from ourselves. Many people think loneliness is just about being physically alone, but in reality, it's the emotional disconnection, the feeling that no one truly understands you, no one hears you, no one sees your struggle, that makes it so heavy. Yet this very heaviness is often the first sign that Allah is trying to realign your heart. When Allah wants to purify you, He doesn't always do it through blessings or comfort. Sometimes He allows a wave of emptiness to wash over you so you can finally recognize what you've been depending on more than Him. Sometimes He removes the noise so you can hear what your soul has been whispering for years. Think of the moments when you felt ignored or forgotten by people you cared about. Those moments sting the most because they expose your dependence on them. You begin to realize just how much of your peace was tied to their attention, their validation, their presence. And when they pull away, that peace collapses. Allah allows that collapse not to break you, but to rebuild you. He wants you to see that no human being should have this much power over your emotions, your self-worth, or your stability. People are imperfect, unpredictable, and ever-changing. They get tired, distracted, overwhelmed. They forget, they slip, they disappoint. But Allah never does. He is the one who doesn't grow tired of you, the one who never forgets you, the one who is closer to you than your own veins. When your heart feels lonely, it's usually because you've placed it in hands that were never meant to hold it. You gave someone too much access, too much influence, too much trust. And Allah sees the danger you can't see. He knows that if He doesn't intervene, you might lose yourself chasing temporary affection. So He removes the person, or reveals their true nature, or distances their heart from yours. At first it feels like pain, but later you discover it was protection. You were asking for happiness, and Allah was removing what stood between you and that happiness. Many people don't realize how loneliness sharpens your inner vision. It forces you to look inward, to confront your patterns, your fears, your attachments. It pushes you toward questions you've avoided. Why am I so affected by this person's absence? What void was I asking them to fill? Why did I rely on them for a happiness that should come from Allah? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are necessary. Without them, you would continue walking through life expecting people to save you, heal you, carry you, complete you. And no human being is capable of doing that, no matter how much they love you. Loneliness is also one of the ways Allah brings you back to Him gently. When you feel abandoned, you naturally seek a place to rest your heart. You look for something stable, something constant, something unchanging. And that is when the heart finally turns toward the one who never leaves. Allah fills your loneliness not by sending people immediately, but by sending clarity, peace, stillness. He creates a space inside your heart that is meant for Him alone. And once He settles into that space, you begin to realize that being alone doesn't mean being empty. It means being held by a presence that doesn't fail. When you understand that loneliness is Allah's call, not His rejection, it becomes easier to embrace it. It becomes a moment to pause, to breathe, to detach from the world, to reconnect with your soul. You start to see how every tear has meaning, how every silent night is shaping you, how every disappointment is redirecting you. You begin to recognize that the loneliness you fear is often the very tool Allah uses to lift you to a higher version of yourself. Detaching from people does not mean becoming cold, heartless, distant, or emotionally numb. It simply means learning how to love people without turning them into your source of happiness. True detachment is when your heart remains soft, caring, and compassionate, but it's no longer dependent on the reactions, attention, or approval of anyone. It is the balance between loving sincerely and protecting your soul from unnecessary attachment. Many people confuse detachment with indifference, but they are entirely different. Indifference kills compassion, while healthy detachment protects it. When your heart is not chained to someone's behavior, you are able to love more purely, without desperation or fear. Most emotional suffering comes from expecting people to give what only Allah can give. We want people to be consistent, but their emotions change. We want people to stay, but their lives shift. We want people to understand us, but they can barely understand themselves. And every time someone disappoints us, it feels like a cut, one that could have been avoided if we had not placed so much of our emotional weight on them. Detachment is recognizing that people are meant to be part of your life, not the center of it. You can hold them in your heart, while keeping Allah at the top of it. Think of how many times you got anxious waiting for someone's message, approval, reassurance, or time. You gave them access to your peace, and that access was used, sometimes unintentionally, to shake your stability. Detachment is closing that emotional door gently and reclaiming your center. It's telling yourself, I can care for you, but I will not break if you change. I can appreciate you, but I will not lose myself if you leave. It is freeing yourself from emotional dependency without losing the ability to love. One of the most powerful things you can learn is how to give people space without feeling abandoned. Many times people pull away for reasons that have nothing to do with you. They may be dealing with their own struggles, insecurities, or exhaustion. When you're attached in an unhealthy way, you interpret their silence as rejection. But when you are emotionally grounded, you understand that people need room to breathe, just like you do. Not every distance means loss. Not every silence means betrayal. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself and others is to step back and allow relationships to exist without pressure or expectation. When you practice detachment, your relationships actually become healthier. You stop suffocating people with your fears. You stop reading too deeply into simple interactions. You stop measuring your worth by how people treat you. You become calmer, more confident, more secure. You give love without bargaining. You stop trying to force outcomes. You allow people to be themselves. And most importantly, you allow Allah to guide the relationships that are meant to stay and remove the ones that are not. Detachment also protects you from emotional manipulation. When your sense of self is tied to someone's presence, they can unintentionally or intentionally control your emotion. But when you detach, the power shifts back to your heart. You are no longer shaken by someone's mood swings, inconsistencies, or opinions. You remain rooted in who you are, not who someone else needs you to be. Learning to detach requires training your heart to return to Allah every time it gets pulled toward a human being. Every time you feel yourself getting overly affected by someone's actions, you gently remind yourself that your peace belongs with the one who never changes. You don't pull away from people, you pull closer to Allah. The closer you get to Him, the easier it becomes to stop clinging to people with fear or desperation. The more secure you feel in His love, the less you need reassurance from anyone else. Healthy detachment isn't about distancing yourself from love, it's about freeing your love from expectations that break your heart. It teaches you to walk through life with an open heart, but a grounded soul, to give without losing yourself, to care without depending, and to stay soft without being shattered. Building a life where your emotional fulfillment comes from Allah first begins with understanding that the human heart was never designed to find peace in anything temporary. Whenever you place your happiness in something fragile, it will eventually crack. Whenever you anchor your worth in another person, you hand over a part of yourself that was meant for Allah alone. Emotional fulfillment that comes from the creation always feels unstable, but emotional fulfillment that comes from the Creator feels steady, deep, and unshakable. It doesn't depend on someone staying, replying, understanding, or choosing you. It flows from a source that never runs dry. Most people chase happiness in people, achievements, attention, or relationships. They keep searching for something to fill a void that is spiritual, not emotional. And the heart, when it feels empty, reaches for the closest thing, someone's affection, someone's words, someone's presence, thinking it will heal the restlessness inside. But the truth is, the heart does not calm down until it rests with Allah. You can surround yourself with people and still feel lonely. You can receive love and still feel incomplete. Because the heart's true nourishment does not come from the world, it comes from the one who created it. Building emotional fulfillment with Allah starts with small intimate moments, walking alone, but talking to Him quietly, sitting in silence but letting your heart beat with remembrance, whispering to Him at night, when everyone is asleep, telling Him what you can't tell anyone else, making dua, not because you want something to change immediately, but because you need to feel close to Him. These small acts slowly begin to fill the empty spaces inside you. You start to feel held even when no one is holding you. You start to feel seen, even when no one notices your struggles. You start to feel valued even when people forget your worth. And the most beautiful part is that Allah responds, not always with instant solutions, but with a calmness that makes the trial lighter, with a clarity that helps you understand why something had to happen, with a strength that surprises you because you didn't know you had it. This feeling, this inner support, is what makes emotional fulfillment through Allah so powerful. You begin to realize that you're not alone in your pain, your confusion, your uncertainty, or your waiting. You're walking with the one who knows where you're headed even when you don't. As you deepen your connection with Allah, you also begin to shift the way you view the world. You stop expecting people to save you from sadness. You stop waiting for emotional rescue from someone who is struggling with their own storms. You stop believing that your happiness must come from another human being. Instead, you start treating relationships as blessings, not lifelines. You appreciate people without relying on them for emotional survival. You become grateful for whoever stays, but you are no longer shattered if someone leaves. The heart that relies on Allah becomes more resilient. It doesn't crumble under loneliness. It doesn't react to every disappointment. It doesn't chase validation. It becomes stable, peaceful, self-aware, and aligned with its purpose. And from that place of inner stability, you begin to give love more freely, not because you need it back, but because it comes from a heart filled by Allah. You show kindness without fear. You forgive without bitterness. You connect without attachment. You serve without expecting reciprocation. When Allah becomes the center of your emotional world, everything else falls into its proper place. People still matter, life still holds meaning, relationships still bring joy, but none of them sit on the throne of your heart. That place is reserved for the one who will never abandon you, never disappoint you, never misunderstand you, and never stop taking care of you. And once your heart feels this kind of fulfillment, you realize that the love from Allah is not just enough, it is everything. Recognizing the signs Allah sends when He wants to strengthen you through solitude requires a heart that is willing to pause and look beyond the surface. Many times, what we interpret as loss, rejection, or abandonment is actually a sign of divine protection. Allah doesn't always speak through miracles or dreams. Sometimes His signs come through the quiet rearrangement of your life. People drift away, Plans fall apart, opportunities close, and suddenly you find yourself standing alone, unsure and confused. But if you look closely, you'll see that these shifts are not punishments, they are transitions. They are signals that Allah is preparing you for something deeper, something more aligned with who you are meant to become. One of the most common signs is when Allah removes certain people from your life without warning. You might feel hurt, surprised, or even betrayed. But what if that distance is saving you from a heartbreak you could not see coming? What if their absence is clearing space for something better? Often the people we cling to emotionally are not meant to accompany us to the next chapter of our journey. Allah sees what we cannot. He knows whose presence will drain us, distract us, or delay us. When He wants to strengthen you, He first removes the sources of your dependence, so you can learn how to stand with Him alone. Another sign appears in moments of stillness. When life suddenly becomes quiet, routines change, and the distractions you relied on no longer satisfy you. This emptiness is not a void, it is a calling. It is as if Allah is gently telling you to come back to Him, to sit with your thoughts, to reconnect with your soul. The silence becomes a classroom where you learn patience, surrender, and trust. Many people fear this silence because it forces them to face themselves, but within it lies the greatest opportunity for growth. There are also emotional signs. When your heart begins to feel unsettled by things that once felt comfortable, when you lose interest in conversations that once excited you, when your soul begins to crave depth over noise, this is Allah shifting your inner world. He is preparing you for a higher version of yourself. The things that once entertained you no longer hold meaning, because your heart is being elevated. You are being guided toward a new level of awareness. Sometimes Allah strengthens you through setbacks that feel overwhelming, a rejected application, a delayed dream, a painful disappointment. All of these are signs that the timing is not right, that you are being redirected, not denied. When things don't work out the way you planned, it is often because Allah is protecting you from something you don't yet understand. He is strengthening your patience, polishing your character, and teaching you resilience. These signs are easy to misinterpret because they come wrapped in discomfort, but inside them lies profound mercy. Another sign is when Allah sends you reminders at the exact moment you need them. A verse in the Quran that speaks directly to your heart, a lecture that answers a question you didn't verbalize, a random message that calms your anxiety. These are not coincidences, they are divine interventions. Allah is reminding you that He is near, watching, guiding, and supporting you even when you feel alone. You might also notice that during periods of solitude, your intuition becomes sharper. You begin to sense when something isn't right, when a relationship is drifting, when a decision needs to change. This clarity is a gift. It is Allah teaching you how to listen to your heart, how to protect your peace, how to choose wisely. He strengthens you by removing confusion from your path and replacing it with insight. All these signs, whether subtle or obvious, carry the same message. Allah is reshaping you. He is preparing you for something greater than what you lost. He is strengthening your soul, deepening your faith, and guiding you toward a version of yourself that can handle the blessings He is planning to give you. Transforming your alone time into preparation for divine blessings begins with understanding that every moment of solitude carries a purpose. It is easy to view being alone as a period of inactivity, emptiness, or even punishment, but Allah does not waste a single second of your life. Every silent moment, every empty room, every pause in conversation is an opportunity to prepare your heart and soul for the blessings that are coming. Alone time is not just a pause in life, it is a workshop where Allah molds, shapes, and strengthens you in ways you cannot achieve while distracted by the noise of the world. When you are alone, you have the unique chance to reflect deeply on your life, your intentions, and your connection with Allah. In solitude, you are able to remove the clutter of expectations, the pressure to perform, and the need for validation from others. You can examine your heart honestly, noticing where impatience, anger, or fear still reside, and take steps to purify it. Every trial, every period of waiting, every moment when you feel disconnected from others, is a chance to build patience and resilience. These qualities are the foundations upon which future blessings are built. Just as a seed must remain buried in the dark soil before it sprouts and grows toward the light, your soul must go through periods of quiet preparation before it can receive the fullness of what Allah intends for you. During alone time, you are also able to strengthen your spiritual connection. Your dhikr, prayers, and supplications become more sincere because they are free from distraction. You begin to rely on Allah for guidance, support, and comfort, and in doing so, your reliance on people diminishes. The heart that learns to turn to Allah first is the heart that can fully embrace blessings when they arrive. This preparation ensures that when opportunities come, you are ready to receive them with gratitude, understanding, and a steadfast heart. Solitude also teaches you self-discipline and self-reliance. When you are alone, there is no one to push you, remind you, or rescue you from your challenges. You are compelled to face your fears,
organize your thoughts, and take responsibility for your own well-being. Allah uses this time to cultivate independence within you, to show you that you are capable of handling difficulties and navigating life with faith as your anchor. Every small step you take in strengthening yourself during these moments is a step closer to the future He has prepared. Moreover, alone time sharpens your clarity and vision. When the distractions of the world fade, your heart becomes more attuned to what truly matters. You can discern which relationships, habits, and pursuits align with your purpose, and which ones hinder your growth. You begin to recognize opportunities and blessings before they fully manifest. This heightened awareness is a direct preparation for the next stage of your life, allowing you to make wiser choices and embrace blessings with a deeper sense of appreciation. Allah often prepares the most beautiful chapters of our lives in silence and solitude. He builds our character, fortifies our faith, and sharpens our perception, so that when the time comes we can recognize His mercy and bounty without hesitation or doubt. Alone time becomes not a period of loss, but a sacred preparation for the abundance, love, and success that are waiting. Each moment spent in reflection, worship, and self-improvement is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your soul, destined to bloom into blessings that surpass anything you could have imagined.